Hello, my fellow broke aristocrats, and a happy Wednesday to you. This is our tea time, which we always have on Wednesday, where we talk about all things frugal and we look at other cultures throughout the world to try and find out what they can teach us about healthy living, frugal living, and to see if we can't learn something that can help us improve our health, live the good life without breaking the bank. We take people literally all over the world from the comfort of our own homes to try and find out what other communities can teach us and how they might benefit us in terms of what we can learn about longevity, health, frugal living. We also are not restrained by time. We like to go back in time. For example, we went and visited the Victorian era. That was a lot of fun. And we'll probably be going back to the Victorians again because I absolutely love the Victorians. But today we're staying a little bit more local. People will be pleased to know that in our research on longevity and staying healthy, there are communities here in the United States that are part of what was called the Blue Zone studies. Those are communities that live beyond 100. High concentrations of people making it to 100. In our last tea time, we visited Okinawa, Japan, but today we're going to stay right here in Southern California, and we're going to Loma Linda. Now, Loma Linda is an interesting place. The Loma Linda University that conducted the studies is founded by Seventh Day Adventist. They are vegetarians. And there have been several studies that have taken place for decades, actually, to try and understand why it is that Seventh Day Adventists seem to be living a lot longer than their non-Seventh Day Adventist counterparts. Now, here is what is so interesting about the Seventh-day Adventist. What's interesting about the Seventh-day Adventist is that we're looking at a much larger genetic pool than we did in Okinawa. If you recall the talk we had last week about the people of Okinawa, we were talking about an island population, and they were looking at the genetics of the people of Okinawa and considering the possibility that genetics played a significant factor in why they were living so long. But in the case of the Loma Linda studies, pretty much anybody can become a Seventh-day Adventist because it's based on choice and faith and not on genetics. And so we're looking at a much wider genetic pool. And that's exciting for me as a doctor because it means that simply by changing our habits, we may actually dramatically improve our health and extend our life. So I'm going to link a couple of studies below from the University of Loma Linda, along with some other information if you are interested in longevity studies. But I want to start by talking a little bit about the blue zones. But before I do all of that, I'm going to take a sip of my tea. I'm drinking a frugal, delicious tea, the Black English breakfast tea from Trader Joe's. And I put a little bit of low-fat milk in it because, I like a little milk, but I don't like the calories because we are calorie restricted here. So there it is. I let it steep for about 3-4 minutes. And you want to cool your tea so it's not too hot. Let it drop a couple of, let the temperature drop in your tea just a little bit. Believe it or not, hot tea is associated with increased risk for esophageal cancer, particularly if you smoke cigarettes or if you drink alcohol. There's now a correlation, and that's because the tea may be too hot. So you really want to just go ahead and let your tea, particularly a black tea, steep for about 4, even 5 minutes. Let it sit. Let it cool down a little bit before you sip it, and that will keep it from scalding the back of your throat. So we've let it sit. We've let the temperature drop a little bit so it's a nice, safe temperature. We're going to go ahead and take a sip. It tastes great. No sugar. We're off sugar. And we're going to try and find out what is so special about this community and why they live so long. So I looked at a couple different Loma Linda studies to try and find out why the population had so much longevity and what the summary was from this study, and what we're also finding out from other blue zones, other areas in the world where people are making it to 100. So I opened up to the page Living a Healthful Life that the Adventists have put out, and it really summarizes their belief systems and really how important it is to maintaining your health as an integral part of their belief systems. And this is certainly something that we support here on Broke Aristocrats. The importance of self-care and taking care of ourselves is certainly something we want to see from our fellow Broke Aristocrats. One of the main fundamental beliefs of Seventh Day Adventist is the idea of balance, that one should seek temperance and one should seek balance. And so for that reason, part of healthful living for Seventh Day Adventist is to abstain from consuming alcohol, taking drugs, or engaging in any kind of gluttony or too much. And this is really at the heart of what we see in many of the frugal communities that have health that we've been exploring. They really seek balance. If you look at yesterday's lecture when we talked about protein, we talked about finding the right amount of protein for you, not overdoing it, not underdoing it, but really finding balance. And this is a reoccurring theme we're finding with healthy living, longevity, frugal living, is this idea of balance and avoiding excess, always trying to live the balanced life, live the clean life, live the good life. We also see this amongst the Victorians, this idea that Queen Victoria and Prince Albert had of really being models for balance and temperance. Balance and temperance. And we see this over and over and over again. And we see it also in the Seventh Day Adventists. So the Seventh Day Adventists write that they believe in a life of balance and temperance. They believe that nature creates a wealth of good things that lead to vibrant health, pure water, fresh air, and sunlight. And they believe in promoting clean, healthy lives. That sounds like something that Queen Victoria and Prince Albert would have absolutely loved. They believe in exercise, that you should get out there, move your body and exercise, and that you should avoid harmful substances, whether it's drugs or alcohol or tobacco. They also are vegetarian, and they believe that eating too much animal products are not good for you. And again, this is something that we consistently see in longevity studies, a lower protein diet than what we would see in the standard American diet. And if you remember the lecture I gave yesterday on protein, we talked about how high protein diets can actually be deleterious to our health because the kidneys have to then process and eliminate all that uric acid, and that can actually damage kidney function. But we see that kidney function can be healthy well into old age if we have temperance, if we avoid a lot of drugs that would put, drugs can damage kidneys, alcohol, drugs, toxic living absolutely can be harmful to kidneys. Smoking cigarettes can be harmful to kidneys. Consuming too much protein, harmful to kidneys. All of those things are being avoided if you are a Seventh-day Adventist. They promote a well-balanced vegetarian diet that is rich in legumes, whole grains, nuts, fruits, and vegetables. This is directly from their website, along with take a B12 source to promote vigorous health. They believe in that life is a gift from God, and that temperance and moderation is really to live the abundant life. They believe in servitude, helping others. They sound like they'd make great broke aristocrats. But they also believe in rest, and this is something that we're also seeing in other blue zones. They believe in taking time to rest, and so they observe the Sabbath. I believe they observe it from Friday night to Saturday night, just like the traditional Jewish way of keeping the Sabbath. But whether you take it on a Friday or a Sunday, it doesn't really matter. It's this idea of what we see consistently is the ability to rest and just take time off to relax and de-stress is an important part of longevity. We also see in the Seventh-day Adventist studies the importance of community and service and meaning and prayer and extended family. family is also something that we see is incredibly important in the Seventh-day Adventist studies. As I said before, the reason why the Seventh-day Adventist studies are so fascinating to doctors studying longevity is because it is not dependent on genetics, unlike the Okinawa study. And because it's right here in the United States, we have found a population of people living beyond 100. If you would like to find out more about Loma Linda and the longevity studies coming out of Loma Linda, I'll link them below, along with additional studies on the phenomenon of blue zones. Next week, we'll be looking at another blue zone, one that I'm extremely excited about, and that is the one that is in an island in Greece called Icaria. And I'm especially excited about the Greek island because that was actually one of the first blue zones I studied right after medical school. Okay, so that wraps up this tea time. I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed learning about the Seventh-day Adventist and all the great things that they do that are frugal, balanced, and are improving their health. And hopefully we can take some tips and begin to incorporate them in our own lives. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.